In classical mechanics, today we are going to start a new chapter, which is actually a very important chapter for you, and this is regarding the canonical transformations. But before starting the concept of canonical transformations, I would like to discuss a very important concept, and this concept is regarding the cyclic coordinates, because you will see that the concept of these cyclic coordinates will be invariably used while discussing the theory of canonical transformations and other theories too. So, what is this cyclic coordinate and what is its important concept and consequences? We will see in this lecture. Actually, this cyclic coordinate is also known as ignorable coordinate. So first of all, we will define this cyclic or ignorable coordinates, and then we will explain this idea by some important examples. For this, let us consider a system, and as you know, the Lagrangian of a system is in general the function of the generalized coordinates, generalized velocity and time. So you can express Lagrangian of the system L in this way, that L is equal to L of Q1, Q2, so on Qk, so on Q1 dot, Q2 dot, so on Qk dot, so on T. As you know, these Q1, Q2 are what? These are generalized coordinates, and Q1 dot, Q2 dot and so on, these are generalized velocities, and T is time. So in general, Lagrangian is a function of generalized coordinates and generalized velocity and time. But due to dynamical symmetry of the system, it is possible that some of the generalized coordinates may not appear explicitly in the expression of this Lagrangian L. In fact, the coordinates which do not appear explicitly in the expression of Lagrangian L are known as cyclic coordinates or ignorable coordinates. For example, if you consider that this Q2 does not appear in the expression for this Lagrangian, it means L is not an explicit function of Q2. So if L is not an explicit function of Q2, that means L is not equal to L of Q2. And in this condition, you can say del L by del Q2 will be equal to 0. And then we say that Q2 is a cyclic coordinate. So I hope you have understand. In brief, you can say that a cyclic coordinate is a coordinate which do not appears explicitly in the expression of Lagrangian. Such a coordinate is called cyclic coordinate. Now let us illustrate this idea by a proper example. So let us consider a simple example for its illustration. Let us consider that a particle of mass m is moving in the gravitational field of the earth, and for calculation we treat that earth's surface is lying in xy plane. So this xy plane is what? This is actually the surface of the earth, you can say, and we take the z-axis normal to the surface of the earth, and during the motion the particle at any time t is, let us consider at this point P, and the coordinates of this point P are x, y, z. Let us say. It means you can say that the height of this particle of mass m from the earth's surface is z at any time t. So if we want to find the Lagrangian of this very particle which is moving near the surface of the earth, mark this line, near the surface of the earth means we will take the acceleration due to gravity g as a constant, because you know g is constant near the surface of the earth. So you can say, let a particle of mass m is moving near the earth's surface in the gravitational field of the earth, and we take the earth's surface as xy plane, and at any time t the particle is at a point P whose coordinates are x, y, z. We consider it. So P of x, y, z, this is position of the particle at a time t. So let us try to find what will be actually the Lagrangian of this particle. So you can say Lagrangian of the particle. As you know, the general definition for Lagrangian of a particle or system is what? You know, this is T minus V, and you better know this T is what? This is kinetic energy, and V is potential energy of the system. Now here, if you consider that the velocity of the particle at that time t is v, then its kinetic energy will be what? This will be half mv square. And potential energy, you know, since the height of the particle from the earth's surface is z, and we take g as a constant, so the gravitational potential energy of the particle at that time will be simply mgz, if you consider that this earth's surface is just the reference to measure the potential energy of the particle. So taking the earth's surface as reference level, the potential energy of the particle at point P will be simply equal to mgz. Now, if you consider that the velocity vector of the particle is Vx of Vxi plus Vyj plus Vzk. It means Vx, Vy and Vz are the x, y, z component of the velocity of the particle. Then what will be this V square? You can say this is Vx square plus Vy square plus Vz square and minus mgz. Now, as you know, the component of velocity Vx, Vy and Vz are how defined? Vx, you know, this is defined as dx dt. So this will be dx dt square. Vy square will be dy dt square, and Vz square will be dz dt square, and minus mgz. Now in dot symbol, you can write this dx by dt as x dot, dy by dt y dot, and dz by dt as z dot. So the expression for Lagrangian of this particle will be what? This is half m x dot square plus y dot square plus z dot square minus mgz. This is the expression for Lagrangian of this particle of mass m moving in the Earth's gravitational field near the surface of the Earth. Now you can see this expression for Lagrangian of the particle, and you can easily say that this Lagrangian is a function of z, x dot, y dot and z dot. So it means L is equal to L of z comma x dot comma y dot comma z dot. So it is clear from this expression for Lagrangian that the coordinates x and y do not appear explicitly in the expression of Lagrangian L. And as you have just learnt the definition of cyclic coordinate, that the coordinate which do not appear explicitly in the expression of Lagrangian, those coordinates are known as cyclic coordinates or ignorable coordinates. So you can easily say that the coordinates x and y are cyclic coordinates in this example. So as x and y do not appear explicitly in the expression for L. L means Lagrangian. So x and y are cyclic coordinates in this example. And you can easily check that this del L by del x will be equal to del L by del y, and both will be equal to 0. So you can say that in this example the x and y coordinates are cyclic coordinates. I hope after this example you have understand the concept of cyclic coordinates. But here we will see two remarkable facts regarding the cyclic coordinates. So let us see what are those two important facts. The first important fact is that if a coordinate which is cyclic with respect to Lagrangian, or you can say which is cyclic in Lagrangian, then that coordinate will be also cyclic in Hamiltonian. So you can show that if a coordinate is cyclic in Lagrangian, it will be definitely cyclic in Hamiltonian. So I am writing this fact first of all, and then we will prove it. So if a given coordinate is cyclic in Lagrangian, L, then it is also cyclic in Hamiltonian H. Hamiltonian H. This is a very remarkable fact. It means if you consider that there is a coordinate, let us say Q, which is cyclic in Lagrangian, it means Q does not appear explicitly in the expression of L, then that Q will be also cyclic in Hamiltonian. It means that Q will also not appear explicitly in the expression of H, that is Hamiltonian. Let us try to prove this result. We consider that there is a coordinate, let us say Qk, which is cyclic in Lagrangian. So to explain this fact, consider let Qk is a cyclic coordinate. Cyclic coordinate in L. Then you know if Qk is cyclic in L, what does it mean? It means L is not equal to L of Qk. And then you know that this del L by del Qk will be equal to 0. Now let us use this result in the Lagrange equation of motion. As you know, by Lagrange equation of motion, Lagrange equation of motion. You know, according to Lagrange equation of motion, d dt del L by del Qk dot is equal to del L by del Qk. But according to our assumption, this Qk is cyclic in Lagrangian, and if Qk is cyclic in Lagrangian, then you can see this del L by del Qk is 0. So in this condition, you can say that this del L by del Qk is equal to 0 according to our assumption. So you can say that this d dt del L by del Qk dot is equal to 0. Del L by del Qk dot is equal to 0. So del L by del Qk dot d dt del L by del Qk dot, this will be equal to 0. And but you know that this, sorry, the page is in fact changed. Let us write on this page. But you know that this del L, there is something going wrong. See, now it is okay. You can see. But del L by del Qk dot, what is this? You know the partial derivative of Lagrangian with respect to the generalized velocity is the generalized momentum. You know it. So del L by del Qk dot is equal to Pk, where Pk is the kth component of generalized momentum. You know, generalized momentum. So in the light of above equation, we can say that this d dt Pk, this is equal to 0. This is equal to 0. But you know d Pk by dt, this is Pk dot. So Pk dot is equal to 0. And this result implies that if pk dot or d dt pk is 0, it means pk is equal to constant. This pk is equal to constant. And you can take this constant by a particular symbol too, but I will write that particular symbol sometime later. Now you can see that when we have considered that qk is a cyclic coordinate, then we have arrived to a particular result that the time derivative of the conjugate momentum of qk, that is pk dot, is equal to 0 or pk is equal to constant. Now you have learnt what is Hamilton's canonical equation. So according to Hamilton's canonical equation, you can see, according to Hamilton's equation, you know that according to one of the Hamilton's equations, pk dot is equal to minus del h by del qk. But you have seen that when qk is a cyclic coordinate in Lagrangian L, then this pk dot is equal to 0. We have obtained this result. Therefore, you can say that this minus del h by del qk, this is equal to 0. And if minus del h by del qk is 0, it means you can also say that del h by del qk is equal to 0. And if del h by del qk is 0, what does it mean? It means h is not equal to h of qk. And what this result refers, you can easily say it means that this qk also does not appear explicitly in the expression of Hamiltonian. And if qk does not appear explicitly in the expression of Hamiltonian, what does it mean? It means qk is also a cyclic coordinate in Hamiltonian. So this result shows that if qk is cyclic in Lagrangian, then it will be also cyclic in Hamiltonian. So this implies qk is also cyclic in Hamiltonian. I think we have understand this fact. So remember, if any coordinate is cyclic in Lagrangian, then it will be definitely cyclic in Hamiltonian. It means if qk does not appear explicitly in the expression of L, it will also not explicitly appear in the expression of H. So you can see it. Now we will see another important fact here. As you have seen that in this result, that when qk is a cyclic coordinate, then the conjugate momentum pk is constant. If qk is cyclic, then its conjugate momentum pk is definitely constant. This is a very remarkable fact. If qk is a cyclic coordinate, then its conjugate momentum pk is constant. pk is constant. That is, you can say pk equal to constant, and let us denote this constant by the symbol alpha. pk is constant, and that constant I have denoted by the symbol alpha. So in this condition, if you want to write the expression for Hamiltonian, how you can express it? Let us see. So the Hamiltonian may be expressed as h equal to h of q1 comma q2 so on comma qk minus 1. But remember, since qk is a cyclic coordinate in L and you have proved that it is also cyclic in H, so in this argument there will be no qk. So after qk minus 1, you must write qk plus 1. It means we cannot write here qk. And so on. Let us say this is qn. And p1, p2, so on, pk minus 1. Again you can see, since pk is a constant when qk is a cyclic coordinate, then you have seen that we have proved that the conjugate momentum pk will be constant, and since it is constant, so it will be not treated like a coordinate. So don't write here pk. So after pk minus 1, you must write pk plus 1, not pk, because pk is constant. And so on, pn. And finally we will write here t. So this is a very remarkable fact, that if you consider that qk is a cyclic coordinate, in the expression of Hamiltonian, qk will not appear explicitly, and its conjugate momentum pk will also not appear explicitly in this expression, because pk will be a constant. And at the same time, you can see that the Hamilton equation of motion, which is written as qk dot equal to del h by del pk, that can be also written as del h by del alpha, So these are the two very important facts regarding the cyclic coordinates, and I hope I have described this cyclic coordinate in very brief, but definitely you have understand the concept, and you will find its application when we will discuss the theories of canonical transformations and other theories too in the forthcoming lecture.